Hey, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Fueled Life podcast. And I am joined with my host today, Charlie Collins. And today I want you to imagine, after coming home from a long day of work, your home is supposed to be your sanctuary, the place where you can finally exhale, you can kindly release and relax and enjoy, reset, recharge, however you want to redo whatever it is that you wanted to do. But what if, without realizing it, the very air that you breathe, the product that you use, the surface that you trust to sit on are actually undermining your health? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So this is something that stopped me in my tracks when I began to understand the things that I didn't know that I didn't know. And once I learned what I didn't know, I couldn't unknow it. And I started to take an inventory of what is it that I'm sitting on? What is it that I'm breathing? How often is my filter being changed? And, doing the normal routine maintenance, and also the products, not only just one product, but the multitude of products that are contributing to the experience that I'm having. And so before I get too deep into this, I want to introduce Charlie. Charlie, welcome. And what's your thoughts, my friend?
My thoughts are this is a good topic that back when I received some information about this, I was like, huh, which then caused a revelation, like ahas, and I had no idea. It was something I was learning and taking a look at. I was just in one way of living, and then it started transforming. Started looking at what's in the house, what's in the rooms, what's in the environment. And I didn't know. I mean, Stanley, think of ultra processed food. Think of that industry. What do? They market to us how heavenly it is. They leave out some, harsh facts about the actual chemicals that are in that. And so does this industry. They, fantastic. And I don't mean to hurt, I don't know, but they market it like it's a couple of squirts. And not only will it clean in one time, it'll also leave a coating, and it will leave a fresh scent in the house. And it's like, peel back that onion and you'll find out that there's some toxins in there.
Yeah, the thing of it is, one of the big things that I think we take for granted, and I say we as a collective body of people, is that we're in tune with the pollution on the outside of our homes. We're in tune with that. But the fact of the matter is that the pollution inside of our homes can actually be 5 times more polluted than the air on the outside. And when we contribute that the fact that 90% of our time we spend indoors, I want you to just let that drop. Just let that sink in for a moment and think about, if the air in your house is 5 times more polluted than that's on the outside without you even realizing it, that's a startling fact. And that is a scientific fact that's been proven. And when we're in this environment, what are we doing to what's going on inside our body, our experience as a living being? So, yeah.
And we weren't taught this. So it wasn't like our parents said, well, here's chemicals that we use in the home. I mean, my dad, when he was doing the fence in the backyard, he had creosote and he was painting all the posts. So it lasted. And it's like, then dropping it in the ground, and you won't, it's like, but that got taken off the market because it wasn't good. and we didn't know when we're spraying out in the garage, brake cleaners and all those things, that the fumes, they're hitting our skin. We didn't know that if your basement flooded and you didn't get the water out properly, or let it sit too long, or you don't use a dehumidifier. I don't know that all this that's going on, and like you said, in my home, is actually producing bad air quality. I'm using air fresheners. I'm using deodorants and hairspray. So I don't do that, but I'm using makeup. I'm not. People are, and stuff, or sunscreen. They're putting this really bad stuff and then letting the sun bake it into them. And I didn't know any different. I'll just spray this on me and I'm done, because it said just spray and go. And it didn't tell me, but this is going to make your skin look disgusting in 10 years.
Yeah, and one of the things that I work with people on is pain. And when they mask it with a pill, an aspirin, Tylenol, whatever you want to call it, okay, when they mask the pain with a suppressor, what they're doing is they're shutting the body's language off. Well, it's the same thing in our home. So if our home has an odor and we're spraying chemicals in the air to kind of capture, they show the commercial where you spray this stuff out of a can and they call it fresh air, and it's mountain mist, and it's sunshine green, and all lilac, and all these chemicals. They're going in and they're supposed to be collecting these particles, and they're taking it down to the floor. Well, it doesn't go anywhere, but let's say it goes into the floor, and now you're traipsing around and you're stirring all that stuff up. Then these are when things start to happen, when we start to notice maybe I'm getting a little more headaches, or I'm feeling a little more achy in my body, or I have an upset stomach. And all of these things, it's not just one product. It's why, I don't burn candles in my house, and I haven't burned candles in my house for a very long time, even before I understood what chemicals are in that candle. And, the flame retardants, here's another product. We've got our kids sleeping in flame retardant material. Well, those chemicals are being released onto their body. And I had a client one time that she was talking about her son's allergies, and headaches were getting worse, and everything they were trying, they thought that they were doing the right thing. But what they discovered was that it wasn't just one product, it was the multitude and the experience of all those products coming together, that her son was having these headaches and having these fits of rage, actually, because that's how his body was reacting to the chemicals that were in the home. And by making these small shifts and getting rid of those products, getting rid of those chemicals, it was a night and day difference. And that's the experience that can happen, and happens more often than we're told. And this is not going to be promoted by the mainstream news media, or even the products that you're buying. They're not going to come out and tell you this stuff.
No. Just like the health care industry isn't going to help teach you the metabolic reasons, and they're just going to treat the symptom. And so I excuse me, I went in a house the other day, and it had a scent, but all houses do, I think. And mine, of course, has the best one because it's my scent. And but I had to go down in the basement to get some stuff and for them, and I carried it up. And I was like, oh, it was disgusting. Mm-hmm. It was dark. It was, it was a finished basement. It stunk. Not just like musty, gross basement, but it had something else brewing in it. And the people, they get sick a lot. And the wife is always, she's allergies. She's got arthritis. She's got this issue. She just seems to has a lot of problems, and she's not, she works and she goes at it. And it just hit me when I was down there. I can't imagine what this is producing in the home, whatever it is down here. I mean, somebody said while we were down there, well, all basements smell like this. I said, have you been in mine? Your basement doesn't smell at all. No way it does.
Right.
No, because we do what you dehumidify, the house breathes. My house has a whole house fan. You turn that sucker on, open the windows and doors, cleans the whole house out. Right. I can't imagine why they would build a house without one of those. And, our house have facets, whatever that, all that stuff, but it's to help the house breathe.
Right.
House has to breathe. It's got to have a flow because the builders and people knew that if it didn't, it's going to lock up, it's going to have structural problems, but also it's going to make the family very sick. And
Absolutely.
that's what I heard. I heard that. Did you know the shampoo, the cream rinse, the deodorant, the soap, the toothpaste, all the things you're using are all bad for you? And I'm like, what? And again, back to our Yucca app.
Right.
Start scanning your stuff. You're going to be amazed.
Yes. And a plug on that. So Yucca has just developed now that when you scan a product, you can actually send an email to the company when it's got hazardous material in it. And it's a produced email saying, hey, your product was just scanned and it's showing these hazardous materials. Please get these removed for our health. It's amazing. I love it. And it's a free, it's just free to send this email. And so I sent 3 the other day, and I got 3 letters from the companies that said, we're going to send this to our research department to look into this. Thank you for reaching out. And here again, maybe they won't do anything for one person, but you get 500,000 people that send an email. Hey, they're going to have to start taking notice, because now the awareness is going to be brought forward. And it's just like, our home is supposed to be our sanctuary. And when we're bringing these products in to make it that utopia, that safe haven, we set up a sanctuary. Like I talked about last week, my bedroom is my sanctuary. So at the end of the day, I hit my timer on my diffuser, on my essential oils, good quality essential oils. And I'm not going to do an advertisement for the brand, but it's a good, high quality essential oil. And it goes on for an hour. That sets the tone and helps me then download and detoxify and go to sleep. And I wake up, and it really sets the trajectory of my sleep. And that's what we want our home to be. And, the chemicals that are lurking that we don't even know that they're doing. Like you said in the beginning was, you're cleaning your counter. You don't know how much stuff you're leaving on there if you don't have an infrared light. And so we're trusting somebody that doesn't have any investment in our health to provide products that are coming in, and we're inviting them in without knowing what they're actually doing. It's kind of like inviting a thief over to your home and showing him where all the jewelry is, showing him where all the silverware is at, and all your best stuff, and trusting that thief is not going to rob you. Doesn't really work so well.
So I think everybody is aware of like a toxic vampire. That's a person oozing of negative energy, right. Always complaining, blaming. And, they walk in a room, you're like, crap. And it's like, oh boy, that poor soul. They're just that toxicness. Well, unfortunately, the chemicals, that's what we're walking into in our home at time. We're wondering why I don't feel something. I feel off. It's because this stuff is working against us, our bodies, our cells, and we were made to be outside a lot more than inside. Right. And we have an amazing system. It's beyond amazing what it does for us, and how it constantly is trying to keep us clean and toxic free, and our liver's constantly trying to, it's receiving this stuff you're spraying in the house, and it's trying to process and clean and pump it back out. And the body can't, it doesn't know what all this stuff is. It wasn't meant to keep it clean. It's like the air filter in your car, you got to change it. Well, we can't just pull out a filter and put a new one in, but we can change the environment that we live in, so it will feel different. My environment, it feels that way. It feels it's clean, it's organized, it's but it's also, I don't have a candle burning or one of those plugins that you plug in the wall, and not only it's sending electrical toxins, but the room smells so good. Yeah, stay in there for a while. Right. You know what I mean? It's like, how could you not want to do that if your house you have dogs, cats, like you said, we need air purifiers.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were sharing with me here a couple weeks ago about an air purifier that you have and the difference that it made. And I'm looking at a particular I think it's Air Doctor is the one that I'm looking at. It's a little pricier, but hey, you either pay for it now or you pay for it later. And you pay for it now, you have health now. You pay for it later, it may be your health that you're paying for it. One of the things that I'm always amazed at, Charlie, and uh, I'm amazed at this, is that one of the last things that people change is their vacuum cleaner bag. They wait till that sucker is completely full before they change it. And a lot of times those bags begin to break down. So I have a shop vac and it'll hold so much. But what happens is as I use that shop vac, even in spurts, it begins to break that bag down. And eventually I've got a double filter on it. I'll check it every now and then. I'll check it to see how that's doing. Once that particle starts breaking through the bag, that sucker's gone. I don't care if it's a quarter of the way full or if it's half full. It doesn't matter. It's one of those things. Don't pollute your air when you're cleaning your floors. So I'm kind of a clean freak and might upset some people. It might be self-convicting, but hey, you vacuum a room, empty that sucker. If you've got a bagless, especially empty that sucker. Don't wait for it to go to the max line. That max line is the worst part. Empty it when you do a room. See what you're collecting and the power that you're pulling up. That's just a quick suggestion.
That's a quick fix. This isn't hard. This isn't like, changing our habits of eating is much harder. It's much harder. This is just pick up a product. It doesn't own you. You don't owe it anything. The company's made a lot of money off you already if you've been buying it for years. Yeah. And look, read the back, and then scan it with the Yucca app and find out. And there's lots of companies that make good enough cleaning products, or you can actually make your own concoction at home and that do the job. Stanley, once I thought, we at my old house, we had granite counters, and I said, and I brought my buffer from the car and a pad and the wax for a car, and I did my counters, and they looked amazing. And my sister-in-law was over, and she's like, "Wow, how did you get your counters so clean?" I said, "Oh, I waxed them." And she's like, "Oh, what type of environmentally?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I use car wax." She's like, "And you're putting food on this?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I wouldn't think to look any further. I was doing it for how it looked. Like we do it for how it smells. We do things I wasn't thinking it all the way through. I didn't know you should.
That's something, when we're talking about cosmetics. Now, I don't wear cosmetics. Okay. I just want to be very clear about that. But most lipsticks have lead in them. And when I discovered that, when I became a brain health trainer through Dr. Amen, he shared that most lipsticks have lead in it. That's what makes it stick. And that's what makes it shine. And he calls it the kiss of death. And when you think about that, I mean, here it is, they took lead out of paint, but they didn't take lead out of lipstick. And, we're worried about, little Johnny or little Sally chewing on the guardrail with lead paint, but you're putting lead directly on the most prominent area of a susceptibility near your mouth. And you have more absorption in your mouth. And so if you're licking your lips and you've got lipstick on it, I hate to tell you, but you're ingesting a poison. And it's either look good and go early or change your product and stick around for a lot longer. We wait till the bottom falls out before we make a change. And it doesn't have to be complicated. And that's what you're saying. You don't wax your countertop anymore, do you?
I mean, we have a product that's good on granite, and it's also environmentally, and it's all that stuff. But it doesn't do as good as of a job. But I was so proud of myself.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't know what you don't know.
That's it.
And then once I was started learning and looking into, and why does that benefit? Well, if I'm dropping food on there and it's picking it up and I'm giving it to my kid, I mean, I could see, but we're doing this every day in our homes.
Yeah.
We're using detergents. If your detergent has a scent in it, no scents they're toxic,
right?
Because it's chemicals. For using dryer sheets, and it's because then you have static. And it's like, well, let me spray that stuff on. I'm sure that's good for me. There's so many things that were made and they did fix the problem, but it creates another one.
Yeah. So, let's just do something really, really simple here, Charlie. When we're talking about the dryer sheets, okay, I used to use the Bounce dryer sheets all the time because I liked the way that it smelled, and it also kept my clothes from being staticky. Then I discovered wool balls, and I throw 6 wool balls into my dryer, and they last thousands of washes and dries. And the clothes aren't staticky. The clothes aren't they don't come out with this smell, but they don't have chemicals on them. So I'm not breathing that chemical, and I'm not putting that chemical on my skin in my intimate areas with products that I really wouldn't want on that, because it is endocrine disruptors. It's hormone disbalancers. So when I'm thinking about that, this is a simple change that you can make. And I think you can get those wool balls for an American-made wool ball that is an American product for like $19 for 6 balls. So they'll last you 1,000 dries. Change them out each year. Most people, if you're by yourself, those 6 balls will last you a lot longer than a year. But here, it's making those small incremental changes that give you longer lasting results.
Yeah. And Stanley, you said lead paint. So when people learned about what it was doing, lead paint, it became an issue. And it became, let's transform, let's change, let's get rid of this stuff the best we can. People that aren't home, it was done. It's like, you can't possibly, but it has to get to like Crisco oil that is off the market, margarines and lead paint. It has to get so bad, and it has to get so much attention that they will then bring it out. They won't do it. They know. And so, like you said, people got to act. Sure. There's 2 ways. Do the emails to the companies, and thank you, Yucca, for making it simple.
Right.
And your voice should be heard. And if that doesn't work, don't buy it, because that speaks to a company better than an email. And if 100,000 people said we are no longer buying that product, they're going to make changes. And I don't, I get it. It's profits over everything else. That's the name of the game. And so think of the stuff in your home, in all your cabinets, and up in your upstairs bathroom where, open that and go through sunblock, everything, and scan it. Oh my gosh. My daughter, it was the funniest thing. I could hear her screaming, not screaming, going, oh my, like she felt deceived.
Yes.
She went to a nice place and did the hair and all that, and they recommended this system, and she spent like $100 on it, and she bought it for, a couple of times. All of it was crap. And she's like, I can't believe they did this. Well, they don't know. They're thinking it's right for you. And, and it's like, I could hear dump, throwing everything out. She was like, this is ridiculous. If I use this for 10 years, our bodies, you would start having allergies. You might have inflammation. Your joints would hurt. Your liver would be getting too much. It can't handle it. Your cells would start to, the communication in your body would get disrupted, and we would wonder why. And then because of that, we turn towards eating bad. We turn drinking more. I'm so tired. I can't do anything. I'm just going to watch TV. And so it just triggers more bad.
Exactly. And, watching TV, you get those subliminal messages, and you see this commercial with this wave of fresh air, and you're thinking in your mind, my house could use that. It's the middle of winter. Everything's been boarded up. I need some scent. They and I think they probably still do, but I remember seeing on the shelf that there was this spray that you could put on your home filter to your furnace, and you spray it on there, and then it scents the whole house. Well, all of that is chemicals going through all of your ducts. And I don't mean the little ducks that waddle in the water. I'm talking about your duct work. And, when you're breathing that into your body, now you're ingesting chemicals that you don't even know how your body's reacting, and you get a rash or you get something else. And it's making the simple changes. So, one of the things that you can do for cleaning, vinegar, baking soda. I mean, it neutralizes and it kills the bacteria. It kills the fungus. If you use Clorox, it might kill the bacteria, but it spreads the fungus. That's a fact. These are the things that they don't tell us. They tell us half truths. So they're not really lying to us. They're just not telling us all of the truth. And they're not telling us all of the facts. And we're having these skin rashes. I mean, look at a tube of toothpaste. It says, if ingested, call the medical assistance. I mean, toothpaste. It has a disclaimer on there. If ingested, call poison control. Why? Why are we doing that? Why are we thinking that? It's the stuff that they're putting in there is not contributing to true health and true growth. I know I'm going to tick somebody off with that. They're going to go, oh my God, why'd you have to say that? Well, hydroxyapatite toothpaste, brand I use is Boca. Great brand, all natural. It actually regrows the mineral on your teeth. You don't need fluoride. Let me say that again. You don't need fluoride. It's a lie that's been promoted and propagated for years and years and years.
Yeah, that's the first thing that needs to go. And they put sugar in toothpaste too, especially the kids stuff. So I need a burst of, let me brush my teeth, and it's actually sweet. And it's like, what? Well, that defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. It's like, and then when I was switching out my deodorant,
Oh yeah,
it did not work in the beginning. It's like, that's ridiculous. And I finally found something that worked. And then I found a company like Old Spice who came out with something that scanned like 90 something, and it wasn't a harsh toxic chemical. And, so some of these companies are waking up and saying the people want healthier products. So It might cost a little more. There's definitely people that are going to say, I want my winter breeze armpits, and I don't care. I'm going to use it. Okay. And I'm going to brush my teeth with Crest because that's all I know and that's all I've ever done. And I don't believe you. That's fine. That's fine. But I was curious. I'm very curious. And I remember when I did detox of the house, of the products, of the body, of the mind, of the soul, I went all in, and what a difference. It was so hard in the beginning, and my body was screaming to come back, back. Come on, feed the bad me. It wasn't bad. My most practiced way of living, and I was disrupting that. But I'll tell you, Stanley, I mean, it's, when you go in a home, I go into other homes quite a bit, visiting or whatever, big families, and something about it feels warm, feels welcoming. It feels like a positive spiritual. I don't know what it is. Feng shui, but it isn't. It isn't the painting on the wall. It could be they get it. They clean with the right things. Their furniture isn't. I mean, all the clothes that come, they're like in formaldehyde. You don't wear clothes until you wash them. New clothes. It's so not healthy. And some manufacturers tell you that. Wash this before you wear it. And it's so funny. That's like, well, I can't wait. And my daughter's like, oh, I wanted to wear it so bad. I'm like, what's an hour?
Right. And that's a whole nother topic, Charlie, and we could probably get into that, but there's a book that was actually written, and I just purchased it because it's been on my wish list to add to my list. But the book is called To Die For, and it's TODYE, and how the clothes that we're wearing are actually killing us, and wearing them in our intimate areas. And it's the chemicals that are in there are disrupting and changing not only fertility, but also our experience. We're fatigued more than we are not. And what has happened? A lot of the sport clothing, these are things that are making people sick. And they look fashionable, but I'll tell you what, being sick is not fashionable. I don't care. You can be as cute as a bunny, but if you're sick, you don't care what you look like. It doesn't matter. There isn't enough makeup that can make you feel better. And it is making those little shifts. And, it's take this information that we're bringing. And like Charlie has said, go and scan the product. One of the things, deodorant that you brought up, antiperspirant and deodorant are different. And I wore antiperspirant for years and years and years, and I tried to find something that was alcohol free, or not alcohol, but aluminum free. And those products just didn't seem to work. And then I discovered what it was doing to the lymphatic system. When our body cannot perspire, it's plugging that garbage drain up. And what it does is it pollutes what's on the inside. So if toxins can't get out, they just promote inside, and it does more damage. And then I discovered that I'm going to have a rash by going to a deodorant because my body is getting acclimated to something new. Now I don't get the rash, and I use a product. And my personal deodorant is Everyman Jack, but Everyman Jack also makes antiperspirant. So it's not just the company. They're making something that has aluminum free, and they're making something with aluminum, so that they're getting both spectrums. But it takes a little while, 3 months maybe, so where you're not getting that burning sensation, because your body is opening up. It's starting to breathe again. And that is so much more valuable than the alternative.
What was the name of that company? Everyday Jack?
Everyman Jack.
So what is it? It's for the woman's side, Every Woman Jane?
I don't think they have a woman's side. They have, and here again, they have shampoo. So the shampoo has the sodium lauryl sulfate. If your shampoo has sodium lauryl sulfate, guess what? It's going right to your brain right now. Your skin, that thin layer that protects what's underneath in the skull. If you're putting sodium lauryl sulfate, which is in most shampoos and other phthalates, I can't say that word, PHTHALATES. What scientists put pH and TH together? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, yeah. So when we understand what we're putting on the largest exposed organ that goes in immediately, you start to take an inventory and you start going, is it worth saving $1? Is it worth saving $10? Because a visit to the hospital, a visit to an allergy medicine doctor, and they run through all these tests.
Dermatologist.
Yeah. A trip to them Who do you want to pay in the long run? Because it's not just a trip that it costs, it's costing a whole lot more on the way. And making these subtle changes change the trajectory of everything that you're experiencing.
And just when I was working on the whole food, and then my perspiration and my body wasn't trying to pump out toxic stuff, so it breathed. It started working better, so it didn't need concrete under my armpits to keep it from happening anymore. So that goes together. It's like, I wanted to look at all of that. I'm curious, what would it, is it possible? I mean, I don't feel so bad, but but I started at 40 or the late 30s. I'm 57 now, changing the way I was living. But I still need to do it. I forget, and I get something. Molly brought something home, and I was so excited, and I scanned it. I'm like, oh, she's like, I'm sorry, I forgot to scan it before. It spoke to me. It had Charlie all over it.
Right.
Like, my husband would love this. And I still ate it. I mean, I'm not going to return it, but I'm not going to buy it again. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's just staying on top of staying awake. Do you want to thrive? Do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel like you're putting good things into the environment? You're just connected to what source is and how it all works together. Then just be curious, step into it, scan some things, and watch how things improve.
Exactly. And I love how you said that. Be curious, just be curious. And I'm not going to suggest that you just go through and just throw the furniture, all the things out overnight. I'm just saying, take an inventory, be curious. And as you go to replace that product, if you're not putting it on your body, if you're putting it on your body, throw it away. If it's causing damage to you by the toxins that are in it, throw it away. It is not worth it. Okay. If you have 2 glasses of water and one has cyanide in it, but hey, you've already got the water poured, throw it away. Don't drink the cyanide water. It's going to cause harm. So throw it away. There's not a 3-second rule for your life. So if it falls on the floor, if you've been using harsh chemicals, don't count to 3 seconds and throw it in your mouth. Throw it in the trash. It's not worth it. And watch what happens over the next few days as you begin to not use those products, and just test and say, you know what? I'm not going to use the air freshener this week. I'm going to see what difference it makes. And when you notice these changes where you're feeling a little bit better, you're not getting the headaches, then throw it away. Or if you have a neighbor that you don't like, give it to them. Okay.
Don't go visit them. Stanley, if you need air fresheners, you're covering it's a symptom. The problem is somewhere else in the house.
Yeah.
So you need to find that, because it's producing toxins. Yeah. And that's what, my house breathes. It's clean. It smells good. I mean, it just is. It's not a locked up basement that's musty, that's, and then my heating's turning on down there, sucking that basement air and pumping it through the house. And I'm that guy. I went down and I had a bright idea once. I thought, I could, instead of walking around squirting the Lysol or whatever, I'm going down to the heating system. And I pulled out the filter and I just held it there. And I walked around, I'm like, wow, the whole house smells great. And then I learned that might not be the best thing. I'm like, darn it. I would never, because problem, smell, solution, spray into. And I thought, I am so smart. Yeah. I don't have to do each room. I just do the whole house. And I've done it more than once. I haven't done it and never done it in this house. And I've been here since 2009. But it's amazing what the mind will come up with.
Exactly. Exactly. So here is my call to action. So if you've been feeling tired, dealing with allergies, as we go through this season, where some places, we live and they're pulling crops off the field. Maybe your season is over. There's trees that are dropping the leaves, and the environment's changing, and we're starting to close up our homes more and more as we go into winter. You're going to start to notice some things. Just take a moment and swap out some of the conventional cleaning products, the personal care, for a natural alternative. Okay. And consider investing in an air purifier. Charlie was sharing with me here a couple of weeks ago about that there was no dust in his room. And I'm like, dude, what brand is it? I gotta find that, because I'm a dust nut freak. So I don't like dust. And it seems to collect. It seems to just come in, and I've got the high efficiency filter. But it's what we bring in from the outside that we don't even know that we're bringing it in. So take a moment, reduce your exposure to toxins, and watch what you do to feel better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all we do on the fueled life, because there's fuel for us to live. We don't have to go out and get it. It's already a part of who we are. And as we remove the toxins and change over to the little healthier eating and exercise a little more and don't sit, so you'll find that you're tapping back into that fuel, and life becomes a little more purposeful and enjoyable. I'm not always dragging that bag of, I can't say the word, but stuff I didn't know was harming me along with me each day. I'm releasing it over time, and it's a lifelong journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It's just like today, make a decision, start looking around and asking, be curious, ask questions. Why is this so good? Is it really?
Exactly.
And you'll get your answers.
Yep. Well, hey, if you've joined us today, thank you for joining us, and you know what to do. You've enjoyed this podcast. Like, subscribe, and share this with somebody that you care about, somebody that could hear this message and take it and digest it slowly, in parts, or the whole thing all at once. And in the meantime, we want you to have a fueled life, and that's what we're here to help promote and to encourage you to join forces for yourself for a greater cause than just today. We'll see you next time on the Fueled Life podcast. And in the meantime, have an outstanding week, and we will see you the next time.
Take care.